Welcome back. Today, we're climbing into something that's not just steel and hydraulics, but a pure, earth-moving statement. This is the Caterpillar D95PXThe. Caterpillar's wide-track bulldozer designed for flotation, stability, and brute force pushing power in soft, muddy, or unstable terrain where most machines sink and give up. If you've ever wondered what happens when you take the legendary reliability of CAT and stretch it into a fat-track powerhouse with maximum ground pressure distribution, you're about to find out. We're going all the way through the exterior, the cab, the performance, and yes, what kind of check you'll have to write if you want one parked in your lineup, asterisk. Let's start with the first impression. Because the D95PXThe doesn't sneak onto a job site, it arrives like a heavyweight stepping into the ring. With its extra-wide track shoes spreading across the terrain like tank treads. The stance alone tells you this thing was built to float where others dig themselves into a hole. The long track frame is engineered to stretch contact points across a massive surface area, delivering ground pressure so low it can glide across swamp, clay, or soft fill without punching through. The blade up front is classic CAT muscle, available in straight, semi-U, or full U-blade configurations, depending on what you're doing. Whether it's precise grading, mass dozing, or windrowing material like a mining boss, the moldboard is beefed up with reinforced ribs, hardened side wings, and spill guards to send material forward cleanly rather than letting it roll over the top. Everything is gusseted, braced, and reinforced to take punishment day after day, asterisk. Look closer at the undercarriage, and you'll see sealed and lubricated track rollers, heavy-duty carrier rollers, and double grouser or triple grouser options depending on traction needs. CAT engineered the oscillating boogie suspension to flex over rocks and debris, without sending bone-shaking vibration into the operator's spine. That's how you build a machine to work 12 hours straight without rattling its guts or yours apart. The radiator grille is sloped and armored, not only for airflow, but also for deflecting debris. The hydraulic cylinders on the blade are guarded, so even if a branch snaps or a boulder shifts, you don't cripple your hydraulics. LED work lights are perched high, roof-mounted, and fender-mounted to throw aggressive illumination whether you're clearing brush at dawn or grading pads well into the night. And yes, there are grab handles everywhere. CAT assumes you're climbing up wearing mud-caked boots and gloves, so every access point is oversized, textured, and positioned for real-world movement. Asterisk, swing around back and take a look at the rear attachment setup. The D95PXThe can be spec'd with a multi-shank ripper, a single giant center ripper, or a winch setup, depending on whether you're tearing into rock, dragging logs, or recovering stuck machines that cost more than your house. Hydraulic lines are tucked tight, protected under armored steel, and access panels open wide for servicing without needing to crawl under and risk wearing hydraulic oil as cologne. Exhaust is rooted high like a truck stack, not just for aesthetics, but to maintain clearance and visibility. Asterisk. Now let's step inside, because if you're still picturing an old-school bulldozer cab that feels like sitting in a vibrating tin shed, you're about 20 years behind. The Caterpillar D95PXThe cabin is a shockingly quiet, pressurized, climate-controlled command module. Open that door, heavy, sealed, with rubber dampening, and immediately you're greeted by thick floor insulation, upholstered wall padding, and vibration-dampened seat suspension designed to cancel movement before it reaches your spine. The operator's seat itself is air-suspended with multiple axes adjustments, fold back, cushion height, lumbar support, and armrest tilt. You can program your preferred position and lock it in. And the armrests aren't just armrests, they house the fingertip blade controls. This isn't wrestling a lever anymore. It's joystick feathering, proportional hydraulic response, and fingertip precision. Asterisk, look ahead, and the dashboard glows with Caterpillar's digital control. Monitor fuel economy tracking, load pressure data, slope angle, hydraulic temperature, engine diagnostics, service reminders, auto-idle timers, all displayed in bright color with anti-glare coating, so you can read it even when the sun is blasting through the glass. There's a reversing camera that auto-activates when you shift the direction lever. So, instead of guessing if someone's behind you, you get a wide-angle view on screen. HVAC vents are everywhere. Not one pathetic vent blowing in your face, but multi-directional subsurface airflow designed to cool your legs, warm your back, and keep humidity off the glass. And yes, if you want Bluetooth and a subwoofer, CAT will happily add factory sound systems, because, let's be honest, everything runs smoother when you're pushing dirt to a CDC. Visibility is outstanding thanks to the sloped hood design and the tall glass coverage. The pillars are narrow, the mirrors are wide, and the floor-to-ceiling glass makes it feel like you're hovering rather than trapped in a cage. Door seals block dust. Positive air pressure inside keeps pollen and debris from sneaking in. This isn't just a machine, it's a sealed cockpit designed to keep you in control no matter how violent the outside environment becomes. Now Performance, the real heart of this beast. Under that hood lies a high-torque Caterpillar diesel power plant engineered for low-end grunt, not high-rev showmanship. Rated anywhere between 200 to 240 horsepower depending on configurations. But don't let numbers fool you, it's all about torque at low RPMs. This machine doesn't scream, it pushes with quiet, relentless force. The torque converter and transmission are electronically controlled to sense load and adjust for optimum traction, preventing track slip by auto-deciding whether to deliver more torque or brake distribution. That means you don't stall, you don't dig holes, and you don't waste fuel spinning tracks. The hydrostatic steering lets you pivot inside your own footprint if needed. Turn one track forward and one backward for pirouette turns. Or you can feather slow arcing turns while pushing a full blade without losing power. Because CAT engineers believe you shouldn't have to sacrifice control when applying force. Let's talk fuel efficiency. Bulldozers are notorious for drinking diesel like it's free. But the D95PX comes with intelligent economy modes that drop RPMs automatically during idle or light pushing. Auto throttle reduces consumption without killing blade responsiveness. Operators report up to 15% fuel savings over older models, just by letting the electronics manage engine speed instead of manual throttle abuse. Cooling systems are oversized with reversible fans that blow dust out of the radiator automatically at set intervals. That means you don't have to stop and brush debris off every hour like old-school Dozers. Servicing points are chest height, grouped on one side, with spin-on filters that don't require tools or blood sacrifice. Grease points are centralized, so one swipe handles multiple joints. Transmission pulls out on a module. Even final drives are designed for quick access. Caterpillar knows that downtime is the real profit killer, so they built this thing like a machine that wants to stay in the fight instead of cry in the shop. Now let's answer the question everyone secretly holds until the end. What does the Caterpillar D95PX cost? Well, this isn't a toy. Depending on your configuration, blade size, undercarriage type ripper option, tech packages, GPS grade control integration, cab, trim level, you're looking at anywhere between $350,000 to $450,000 brand new, fully loaded with rippers, smart grade control, heavy duty guarding, and comfort pack. You're flirting with $500,000. But here's the thing, used units with 4,000 to 6,000 hours still pull $180,000 to $250,000. Why? Because these machines don't die. They push dirt for 20,000 hours with regular maintenance and still come back for more. And if you're running a serious contracting outfit, land clearing business, or forestry operation, the question isn't, can I afford a D95PX? It's how much money am I losing by not owning one? In grading work, it's a production accelerator. In logging terrain, it's a path pioneer. In pipeline construction, it's a trailblazer. And in land reclamation, it's the king of flotation. Wide tracks distribute pressure so evenly that environmental impact is minimized. Flotation is maximized, and you can operate earlier in the season before the ground firms up. That means you start jobs before your competitors even unload their machines. So what do you get when you buy a Caterpillar D95PX? You get a bulldozer that refuses to sink, refuses to stall, and refuses to let anything slow down progress. You get an interior that treats the operator like a pilot, not a prisoner. You get technology stepping in only when it enhances productivity, never when it dilutes control. And you get Caterpillar's legendary dealership support standing behind you with parts and service that are one phone call away. Wherever you're working in North America, asterisk. And that right there is why machines like this aren't just tools. They're force multipliers. They're confidence boosters. They're the iron backbone of infrastructure. Roads, homes, pipelines, farms. Everything we build starts with a machine like this clearing the way, asterisk. So, if the Caterpillar D95PX looks like overkill, maybe your job isn't big enough. But if your world is built on moving earth, rebuilding terrain, or taming land that refuses to be tamed, then you already know why this machine exists. S